Most orchid growers ask the same question. How often should I water my orchids? Once a week? Twice a week? Every day? The truth is that there is no single watering schedule that works for every orchid. In this video, I'll show you how I decide when to water my orchids, and how you can avoid some of the most common watering mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes orchid growers make is watering based on a calendar. You'll often hear advice like, water every 7 days, water every Sunday, water twice a week, but orchids don't own calendars. They respond to their environment. Temperature, humidity, airflow, light levels, potting media, and even the type of orchid all influence how quickly a plant dries out. That's why a fixed schedule often leads to problems. Fortunately, orchids give us a very simple way to know when they need water: their roots. Healthy, hydrated roots are usually green. When the roots are green, the plant still has access to moisture. As the roots dry, they become silver or white. For many orchids, this is a good indication that it's time to check whether watering is needed. Learning to read the roots is one of the most valuable skills an orchid grower can develop. Once you understand what the roots are telling you, watering becomes much easier. The potting media also plays a huge role. Orchids growing in bark typically dry faster than orchids growing in sphagnum moss. Mounted orchids often dry even faster because their roots are exposed to moving air. In my collection, many orchids are mounted, so I often need to monitor them more frequently than orchids growing in pots. Understanding how your growing setup behaves is just as important as understanding the orchid itself. When orchids don't receive enough water, they often start showing signs of dehydration. Leaves may become wrinkled. Pseudobulbs may begin to shrink. Growth can slow down. On the other hand, too much water can be even more dangerous. Constantly wet roots can lead to root rot. The roots become soft and unhealthy and can no longer support the plant properly. That's why the goal is not simply to water more or water less. The goal is to water at the right time. With a collection of more than 500 orchids, I don't follow a strict watering schedule. Instead, I look at the roots, I check the potting media, I consider the weather and humidity, and I observe how each plant is responding. Over time, this becomes second nature. The orchids themselves will tell you what they need. You simply need to learn how to listen. As collections grow, it can become difficult to remember when each orchid was watered, fertilized, or repotted. That's one of the reasons I created Orchid Keeper. It helps me keep track of my orchid collection and care activities so I can spend less time keeping records and more time enjoying my orchids. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.